Well, folks, once again, I am chained to this chair. You can't see my chains. They're invisible. They're chains of the soul. They're spiritual chains. But they chain me to this chair where I will be forced to watch TikTok videos, which is one of my favorite things next to sticking a screwdriver in my ear and performing a lobotomy. Both things have basically the same effect. Today, I'm going to watch self-help TikToks, which to me is like, if that's not an oxymoron, I don't know what it is. How a TikTok video can give you self-help advice, I don't know, because if you were taking self-help advice, you wouldn't be watching these videos on TikTok. But let's look at them. Let's give them a chance. We'll give them a chance because what alternative do we have? Here we are.
You are the conscious self. You are your consciousness. You're not your mind. You're not your body. You're not your feelings. And you're not your thoughts. You are the consciousness driving this vehicle that we call a human being. Now, this human being has many ways that it works, but let's keep going with this. Now, this next part of the exercise requires you to close your eyes and use your imagination. But before you close your eyes, I want to present a word to you. This word is sunlight. This is the word that we're going to imagine when we close our eyes. So I want you to close your eyes and imagine the word sunlight. And with your eyes closed, I want you to say that word to yourself in your head. Say the word sunlight as you imagine it. Now, as you're imagining it, you're seeing the word that you're saying. You don't have to visually see it. This is your imagination. Now you can open your eyes. What you did in that moment is that you closed your eyes, but you were able to see a word. You said that word to yourself. You were able to see something without your human eyes. You were able to say something without your human mouth. And you were able to hear something without your human ears.
I feel like I just took a drug that I shouldn't have taken. What I'm really worried about is that like 10 years from now, it'll flash back and there will be that guy again. You are your consciousness. It's like, no, I gave up that YouTube video, please. I have no idea what that guy just said, but all I know is I closed my eyes, I imagined sunlight, and now there are just a bunch of spots in front of my eyes. I don't know what that's about. Please keep going. Somebody's got to have some better advice than this.
It took me 4 years to learn what I'm about to teach you in the next minute and a half. It is never too late to reinvent yourself. You can decide that everything you have done up until this point in your life is irrelevant. You can choose today, right now, to start a completely new book, because your past does not have to equal your future unless you choose to live there. For years, I thought the identity that I was creating in the early stages of my 20s was going to be the identity I was going to have for the rest of my life. I heard this quote from Tony Robbins, and it has just completely shaken my world. He says, the biggest conflict that humans experience on a daily basis is the need to remain consistent with how they choose to identify themselves. And that need to remain consistent is usually what forces people to stay stuck in how they've always been. There's just so much peace and beauty in knowing that just because you did something one way for a long period of time doesn't mean you have to keep doing it that way. You don't have to just manage your day-to-day, manage your circumstances. You can actually be the creator of your own life.
This is great. Everything that's happened, I can just throw it all away and start again. I can look to what will be, unburdened by what has been. I can just make a...
Andrew. 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 Andrew, wake up.
No, that didn't work. Never mind. Let's watch another one.
I will never forget the day my therapist looked at me and was like, Kate, you need to start doing things that make you happy. And I will never forget it because I had no clue what made me happy. No clue. I sobbed after she said that. And I looked at her and I was like, I don't know. I truly don't know. And admitting that you don't know what makes you happy is also kind of admitting that you don't know who you are. And that's a really terrifying thing to come to terms with. And I think what took me so long to figure out what made me happy is
Jim never has a second cup of coffee at home.
And kept trying to make it make me happy, and it just wasn't working. And the more I did that, honestly, the more lost I felt, and I felt like something was wrong with me. Like, why don't these things make me happy? Why is nothing making me happy? Why doesn't this work for me? Why doesn't that work for me? And the next point that I think is the biggest point is it's not so much of what makes you happy, because no person or activity can give you happiness. It's a perspective, it's a choice, but it's more you want to find something that brings you into the present moment. That's called a state of flow, a flow state. And that's what you're going for. Like, that's what you want to find. Because when you find something that that you are so focused on what you're doing, you are so into what's in front of you that you can't think about the past and you can't think about the future. That's happiness.
Actually, I think that's being in a coma, I think, but close. It's close, coma happiness. Get rid of the tattoo and have a baby.
How dare you?
How dare I? How dare I?
That'll bring you into the present really fast. Get rid of the tattoo, have a baby. If you're a girl, if you're a guy, don't have a baby because that would just be strange and incredibly painful.
Get out of me!
And ugly too. I don't even want to think about it. In fact, I already have to pour bleach into my ear to get those images out of my head. The one thing I will say about that advice that's kind of interesting is you do not want to listen to people telling you what will make you happy, because our culture is so sick that anything they tell you is likely to make you miserable. That's true. But there's a reason there's a beaten path. People walk on the beaten path because most people are happy on the beaten path, and you're probably not so special that you'll be happier somewhere else. So what you want to do is you want to follow the beaten path, but you want to follow it from about 1950, because that was before our culture became sick. So you want to go to the beaten path of 1950 and follow that path, and that will turn you into Doris Day, and then you'll be happy because you'll be Doris Day. What could be better?
Next time you feel left out, your friends all go out to brunch together and they don't invite you. Let them. Or maybe the person you're dating doesn't want a commitment. Let them. Or perhaps your spouse does not want to do the 5K with you. Let them. Your company is laying people off. Let them. You spend so much time and energy trying to control other people and getting emotionally worked up about things that are beyond your control. You can tap into peace and true control if you let them be themselves. And here's the other thing. If you let them, people will then reveal who they truly are. And when they reveal who they truly are to you, you now know what you can choose next that's right for you. So let them.
So that advice was basically, if people don't invite you to their party, let them, and then get back at them, because now you know who they truly are. I like that. I like that. You wind up, you have no friends. You know, your wife won't go on a 5K with you, and you're out of work, but you're free. You're at peace. That's good. Inner peace. All you need is a little sign that says, "We'll find inner peace for food." That's what you need, and everything will be great. But by the way, when people give you advice, the first question you should ask is, what's going on in your life, right? Because if they're like making money and they're in love and they've got kids around them, who like them, then maybe you take their advice. If they're not like that, if they're on TikTok making videos, don't take the advice. That's my tip. That's my advice for self-help. All right.
How you're going to become the best version of yourself in 6 months. So part 1, the first 2 weeks, you're going to be focusing on your morning and nighttime routines. These are like the most fundamental routines that you need to establish in your life. Once you've got those down, you're going to start to establish your selfish Sunday routine. If you haven't heard me talk about this, it's the same thing as like a Sunday reset, where you literally take the entire day, or as much of Sunday as you can, to focus on yourself and set yourself up for success. These days for me have been transformational. Month 2, now that we have our routines down, we can focus on optimized organization. And I call this optimized organization because we're not just organizing our bedroom, our workspace, our living area, and our kitchen, but we're optimizing them. So we're setting intentions for what do we want these rooms to look like, to feel like, to inspire, and we're going to shape them and organize them in a way that will, for example, your workspace inspire creativity, your bedroom inspire relaxation, all that good stuff.
Well, first of all, my advice is turn off the music while you're talking, because I can't hear what you're saying, and talk slower, because even if I could hear what you were saying, I wouldn't understand it. However, I think you should organize your morning routine, probably around a glass of wine, maybe a cocktail, and then, move on into your afternoon. In the afternoon, you want to organize your workspace so you can have a cocktail next to you while you're working. And then at night, just have a cocktail, and at night, you want a big cocktail with a big open glass. So when your face pitches forward, it will catch you, and you won't drown in your martini. I have no idea what that woman said, but I feel better just hearing it. Made me feel more competent and successful and noisy, and a lot of noise. All right, what else?
Bro, self-help isn't, here's 3 things that you need to do to be a better person today. Self-help is like sitting in a room in fetal position, like by yourself for 3-4 years, trying to figure out what the is wrong with you, right? Self-help is like really doing the work, really doing the journaling, really doing the meditation. Self-help is falling asleep with affirmations in your ear for an entire year because you're so afraid of what your mind is saying to you, and you're literally trying to subconsciously reprogram your entire mind.
And you wind up like that guy. That's bad. That's bad advice, right? Because you wind up like that guy talking nonsense on TikTok. But at least he's got a lot of company. And I've now seen, I think all of them. I've now seen every TikTok video that's ever been made. And all I wish is that I had those part of my life back. I mean, sometimes they talk about what people regret in their last moments. It's this. This is what I will regret in my last moments. In fact, these may be my last moments because I had to watch those videos. Here's my advice on how to help yourself. Like and subscribe to the Andrew Klavan Show wherever you get your podcasts. That will really help.